Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, staying clean on here on YouTube. And it's a blessing to be here sharing about recovery, my recovery, and things that I found out that works, things that do not work in my recovery. And I'd like to share my hopes and my strengths and my recovery with you. Today we're going to talk about steps 3. We made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. When I made this decision to turn my will and my care over to God, I was relinquishing power over myself. I realized that I need to find a new way of living. I need to find a new way of doing things because my way was not working. Because I was stubborn, wanting to do things my way, and it was never the right way. So I stayed in active addiction for 40 years. So when I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood Him, meaning my higher power is God, I wasn't driving the car anymore. I was not driving the car no more. I was taking a lot of that pressure of bad choices, resentments, and pain and giving it to a power greater than me, which allowed me to truly look at Robert. When I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood Him, I learned something, that I am a faulty person. No one comes into this world perfect. Every human being that's living on this earth is a faulty person. They're going to make mistakes. But recovery is what I do after the mistake. That's what's important. That means I need to learn how to do the next right thing. And by me doing that, I'm still allowing a power greater than myself lead me down the path of recovery. Because I'm truly working on thyself, myself. And as I worked on myself, honestly and openly, I did not like what I saw. And being in recovery for some time now, I realized that nobody likes to look at the things they do to themselves and others, honestly and openly, because it's a lot of shame and hurt involved in that. And the interesting thing is that if you harm someone and they don't know that you harmed them, and you're going to be honest to do the next right thing, then you're telling on yourself. And you're not prepared to deal with what comes after being honest with that person. But the interesting thing is that by me being honest about my actions and my deeds and the things that I've done, I don't carry that stuff anymore. It doesn't hold me gripped. It allows me to move forward, finding the best solution for the problem that I'm facing. And be okay that I made a mistake. to understand that, Robert, you're an imperfect person. You're going to make mistakes. But what we teach in recovery is the mistake is not important, it's what we do after the mistake. That's what's important. So that's it. If we stop being ashamed about the mistakes that we make and learn how to do the next right thing, we get better, our lives get better. Yeah, there are going to be some people that are going to poke and, oh, I knew you were going to be like that. I knew you were going to do something like that. You dumb. I don't know why you do something like that. People are going to be people. People are going to hold on to your pain to make you feel less than, or to try to use it to control you in a certain way to make you do something that they know you wouldn't do under normal conditions. Or some people just like to point out people's mistakes so nobody looks at their failures and their mistakes in their lives. But that's no here, there, nor there. That doesn't matter. What matters is me, Robert. And by me owning up to my mistakes that I've made, I don't carry that around anymore. I'm being human. I'm being honest. I'm being genuine. And if people want to hold me accountable for a mistake that I made and I'm correcting it and they still want to hold me accountable years later, and constantly throw it in my face, then it's living rent-free in their head, not mine. If you want to carry that pain, that's on you. But by me working on Robert, doing the next right thing after I make a mistake, and moving forward in my recovery, my life gets better. And the interesting thing is that people cannot hold your past against you to make you feel less than or ashamed. Why? Because you realize everybody is imperfect. I've learned in living that people are so intuitive about making and presenting themselves a certain way that if they don't present themselves and have everybody see them a certain way, they panic. And what that is living up to an image. And I'm here to tell you that a person that tried it for 40 years wrecked his life with trying to live up to an image. It doesn't work. But when I got recovery and living life on life's terms and understand that I have no control over people, places, or things, but I have control over Robert, if I pay attention to Robert, my life will get better. If I choose to do the next right thing, my life gets better. When I make a mistake, if I focus on the solution and not what I did, my life gets better. If I tell someone I've harmed them and what I did, and they don't like me, they don't want to associate with me, that is their choice. But I don't live with that pain of living in my head rent-free because I'm expressing what happened I'm apologizing what I did. I'm making amends to what I did. And I'm moving forward with my life. I'm owning up to the mistakes that I've made. And I'm moving forward in my life. And I get better. But the interesting thing that I've learned in living is that when people know, and you as a person, they truly know you, they know what you really want out of life, they know what makes you happy. Some people will use that for their benefit. In recovery, it teaches to live life on life's terms. That means you need to pay attention to you and your surroundings, what people say and what people do. And just because you do that doesn't mean you don't love a person any lesser. You're protecting yourself because you're paying attention to your surroundings. You're not letting your feelings and emotions get involved with your decision making about situations that has happened in your life or at the present situation. See, recovery teaches you how to live life on life's terms. And it's a lot of work. It takes time. Rome was not built in a day. You heard that famous statement. Recovery was not built in a day. And as you grow in your recovery, your life gets better. You're able to protect yourself from outside forces more and more. Yes, you make mistakes. Yes, you make bad choices, but you own up to your mistakes, you correct your mistakes, and you move forward. That way it does not live rent-free in your head. That way you don't carry that pain into another situation or another mistake. It's called cleaning the wreckage of your past. And you will do that for the rest of your life. And that's everybody. Because we all make mistakes. The interesting thing is that to live your best life, you must learn how to love yourself. You must learn how to understand why you do the things that you do, why you feel the way you do about things, what things hurt deeply when they happen with you. The more you understand yourself, the better you can live your best life. Because it's up to you, it's up to Robert to work on Robert so Robert can live his best life. No one can do it for me. I have to do the work myself. That's the only way I get better. That's the only way I understand who I am and why I do the things that I do and why I feel the way I do. The most important thing that I must keep in my mind at all times, that I have no control over people, places, or things. Because people will do what they choose to do, what they feel that's good for them, to make themselves better, their lives better. And it doesn't matter if it's family, friend, or stranger. Everybody wants their life to be a certain way and live it a certain way. So they work for those goals to get it that way. Some people do it the right way. Some people try it the wrong way. But they're always trying to live their own best life the way they choose to live it. And it has nothing to do with your relationship with that person. Because they're a product of their past. The good things that happen to them, the bad things that happen to them, molds them who they are today. And that path of living life on life's terms, everybody's path is different. So that means everybody has to find their own way in recovery. A person has to find out what works for them. I had to find out what works for me. I had to do some honest soul searching. I had to look at myself honestly and openly. And I realized that I didn't want to do that because I knew I wouldn't like what I saw. So I would blame others for the mistakes that I've made. And was afraid and scared that they won't find out. Hope they don't find out. So I was allowing this stuff to live rent-free in my head over and over again because I'm trying to cover up the truth. Where it could have been just simple, just doing the next right thing one day at a time. I made it complicated. That's why I was in active addiction for 40 years. But when I gave up power, made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood Him, my life changed. I hope what I shared today will make you think. Because you are the most important person to yourself, just like I am the most important person to myself. I'm going to leave you with this thought. If you was in the doctor's office and the doctor said, well, you're going to have this surgery. You need it. We're going to take care of the problem. Are you just going to say, okay, just get it done? Or are you going to do research on what's truly wrong with you and find out what are the complications if complications do happen? What's the downside of the operation? What's the positive side of the operation? What's the rehabilitation after the operation? Or I'm just going to say, okay, doc, do what you got to do. When they cut on you, you may not wake up. You're putting your trust in someone else that you hope knows what they're doing. Hope. You know what they're doing. You hope they know what they're doing. Or are you going to do your due diligence and find out everything about your situation so you can make a sound decision about how you want to move forward? And that's what recovery is all about. Getting all the information you need so you can make a sound decision about the situation and move forward. That means you have to look at the situation honestly and openly. So, here we are. At YouTube, Positive Stroke, Staying Clean. Another day clean and sober. It's Thursday. Less than 3 weeks, I'll be 67 years old. The interesting thing about that is that if I was living the life that I was living in active addiction, I would be dead. Either dead by some type of violence or dead by an overdose of cocaine. But I would be certainly dead. And that's my truth. See, when I can look at myself honestly and openly and know where my path would lead me, it helps me not to go down that path anymore. Know thyself. Be true to thyself, and your life will get better. This is Robert Goodman for Positive Stroke, wishing you a great day. And remember, look in the mirror and say, I am the most important person to myself. You have a great day.